Hello and welcome. We bring you MBC News with me, Mphatso Tebul. Our top stories. The 2024 Africa-China Summit starts in Beijing with a call for China and African countries to embrace modernization. Farmers in the Lower Shire to start utilize the Shire Valley Transformation Project by December this year. And in sports, all seats for Flames 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier opener against Burundi at Bingu National Stadium in Lilongwe. Now, the news in detail. President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera is attending the 2024 summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation (FOCAC). In his keynote address at the start of the summit, China's President Xi Jinping said there is need to ensure China and Africa, who have 1/3 of world population, to be assisted in embracing modernization. He said there can be no global modernization without modernization of Chinese and African populations. He pledged China's support to various sectors in Africa in the next 3 years so that the world moves together towards modernization. The summit is being held under the theme Joining Hands to Advance Modernization and Build a High-Level China-Africa Community with a Shared Future. Several African heads of state are attending the summit. The heads of state are expected to receive and approve recommendations from the ministerial conference, which took place on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the government of China is to provide Malawi with 50 billion kwacha for the construction of a judiciary complex in Lilongwe. The grant agreement was signed in Beijing, China, by the Malawi Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Simplex Chithyola Banda, and Chinese ambassador to Malawi, Long Jun. In an interview, Chithyola Banda said following the signing of the agreement, officials of the two governments will now work to expedite disbursement of the funding. Chithyola Banda explains.
Well, that's the agreement that the Malawi government, through my ministry, has signed with the government of China. For the judicial complex. This is a judicial complex that will be built just opposite the Malawi Parliament building in Lilongwe. In his address to the Malawi delegation, President Xi Jinping of China did announce the 200 million RMB, which is equivalent to around 30 million US dollars for this judicial complex. It is a welcome development in Malawi because it will actually help us to have our own judicial complex in modern buildings that will house quite a number of offices, including courtrooms, and this, to us, is a positive development. What was most important was for this process to kick-start. It has kick-started now, and then the next steps will be between my ministry and the responsible stakeholders in China to put this into effect. So we'll fast track initiating the process to make sure that the disbursements are done and that the work gets started.
Earlier on, President Chakwera and other African leaders have been hosted to a banquet by China's President Xi Jinping. Our reporter, Chembekezo Kapatamoyo, is in China and he gives us a picture.
Yes, indeed, President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera is one of the African leaders that are attending this forum on China-Africa cooperation. This is indeed a summit, and a number of African leaders are already here. From the region, Southern Africa region, you could actually see presidents from Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Tanzania, Zambia. Quite a lot of them are actually here. The thing is, each leader would want to be part of this decision making in terms of how African countries actually deal with China in the next 3 years. And indeed, there is quite a lot of interest among African leaders because they would want to make an individual country case before China so that they are possibly able to benefit from whatever China has prepared in terms of its dealings with Africa. So the actual summit comes up Thursday, and each one of them definitely is ready to contribute and be able to fully benefit from this arrangement.
The Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture says farmers in the Lower Shire will start utilizing the Shire Valley Transformation Project by December this year. This development follows the progress registered in the construction of water intake canals, dams, as well as irrigation works, which are currently underway near completion. Vice Chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Pondwa, told the House that the country will no longer be dependent on rain-fed agriculture once the project fully rolls out. Now, Malawi Revenue Authority MRA says the construction of the Maka Msanje Railway will facilitate trade and boost revenue for Malawi. Marketing and Communication Manager for MRA, Wilma Chalulu, made the remarks after she visited Maka Nyantambo border, where construction of the railway is underway. She explains.
Maka Nyantambo border is very important. We brought you here to appreciate that. For you to appreciate how we link up with the neighbors. It's becoming increasingly important because of the rail construction that is going on here. It is going to be a very significant border because what will happen is that we'll see a lot of trade that's going to happen here. So along with the road that has been constructed here, I think you have appreciated today the Nsanje Malaka road, which has been, by the way, been funded, which was built using taxpayers' money. So it's going to become increasingly important, again, an important part of the trade in Malawi, the Malaka border.
So as MRA, how are you preparing yourselves so that once these projects are done, maybe this will be one of the key borders?
What is happening is that we, as MRA, we are preparing. I think you may have seen somewhere where we have showed you that there's an area where we also construct housing for our staff. We're going to make sure that we've got the right systems to make sure that it's ready for the trade that's going to be coming here. So as MRA, we are gearing up to make sure that we're ready for the traffic that's going to be coming here at MRA in terms of the capacity building for our staff, in terms of the infrastructure that we're going to build to be ready for when the rail line is going to be fully operational.
Governance and human rights advocate Undule Makasungula has urged Malawians to respect the ongoing investigation on plane crash which involved former Vice President Dr. Saulos Chilima and others to avoid making speculative statements that are undermining the integrity of the inquiry. In a statement, Makasungula said the interim findings outlined in the preliminary report represent some progress in the ongoing investigation. Makasungula gives details to Grant Mohango.
I am one of those opposing the setting up of a commission of inquiry, as we are hearing certain quarters calling for this president, the government, to set up a commission of inquiry on the plane crash that killed the former vice president, Dr. Saulos Chilima, and 8 others. I believe the setting of a commission of inquiry would be a huge unnecessary expense on taxpayers, as we have seen the past experiences where recommendations from similar commissions were not implemented. For example, we had the commission of inquiry on late Robert Chasowa, and all these recommendations have not been implemented. So I don't believe that setting a commission of inquiry would make a difference or add value to the current issues we are trying to find out. The best is to have trust and confidence in the ongoing investigations, especially by this German company, the company which has already given us an interim report. And the best way is to allow them to conclude the investigations without giving them pressure, without influencing them. And I think that will help us as a country so that we really understand really that what happened on that day.
You're watching MBC News with Mphatso Tebulo. Remember, you can access all MBC digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen, or get the latest news by subscribing to our SMS services by dialing *364#. A reminder of our top stories once again. The 2024 Africa-China Summit starts in Beijing with a call for China and African countries to embrace modernization. Farmers in the Lower Shire to start utilize the Shire Valley Transformation Project by December this year. And in sports, all set for Flames 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier opener against Burundi at Bingu National Stadium in Lilongwe.
Chinjiri, are you ready? Magalanga Seventh-day Adventist Church in Machinjiri will hold a special prayers camp meeting with the title, I Will Go. During these great gatherings, the following preachers will share the gospel: Mrs. Sipiwe Kayinga, Children's Ministries Facilitator, Pastor Keifa, Pastor W.V. Wright, Pastor Shadrach Nsuka, Dr. Peter Mpinganjira, and finally the host, Pastor P.L. Mbewe. The golden voices of Namasalima family singers, among others, will keep us entertained in the Lord. Let God's blessings shower upon you as you watch all this from Wednesday the 4th of September to Saturday the 7th of September in the evening from 8:30 p.m. on Malawi's most watched television, MBC TV. Don't miss a moment of this great time with God. MBC, inspiring the nation.
The Ministry of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, Jean Sendeza, has emphasized the need to eliminate gender disparities and enhance child protection measures in the country. The minister made the remarks in Lilongwe amidst rising incidents of child abuse, child marriages, school dropouts and poor performance in both primary and secondary national examinations in the district. Emmanuel Jikonso reports.
The rising cases of child abuse, child marriages, school dropouts and poor academic performance in Standard 8 and Form 2 national examinations were the focal points of the ceremony held in commemoration of the Day of an African Child, organized by Lilongwe District Council at Mpingu Primary School Ground, TM Bwadaliga. Jean Sendeza, the Minister of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, called for immediate action from authorities and relevant stakeholders to address these issues. She emphasized the need for stricter enforcement of laws in areas where children's rights are being violated.
Government is doing its part in sensitizing, making awareness campaigns, but even we would want to see our partners, the civil society organizations, helping us, doing this, implementing these laws. Because on our own as government, yes, we are doing it, but even the support of the partners is what we would want to see. And we would want to see coordination, because if we don't coordinate, then the laws will be nothing, will not make any sense. So this is what we will be doing, sensitization and engagement of all the stakeholders that are in the Lilongwe district.
Senior Chief Mbwadaliga stated that while laws exist, they are now being more rigorously enforced, particularly in eradicating harmful practices in villages where children's rights are being abused. In his remarks, Gibo Zimpazi, the chairperson of non-governmental organizations in Lilongwe, criticized the lack of coordinated efforts in addressing these issues.
There's need for all of us to look at the structures that are working in the villages, structures that are working in the community and in the school, to make sure that all the children are going to school on a daily basis, not just once in a week, but on a daily basis.
Reports indicate that over 1,500 cases of child abuse have occurred in Lilongwe district since January this year, with more than 500 cases involving child marriages. The Day of an African Child is observed annually on 16th June with this year's theme focusing on elevating every child's educational standards. Emmanuel Shikonso, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Malawi Network of People Living with HIV and AIDS, MANIT Plus, has handed over motorbikes to Mzimba North District Health Office aimed at enhancing health monitoring activities. Executive Director for MANIT Plus, Lawrence Konyongwa, said the motorbike is part of a global fund program called COVID-19 Response Mechanism, which aims at enhancing disaster response preparedness.
In terms of disaster preparedness, we have been hit by a number of disasters, including COVID-19, cholera, and others. This project is also going to look at how prepared communities should be before these disasters come. So there is a component which is addressing issues of disaster preparedness. How can we strengthen our systems? How can we strengthen our structures? And how can we strengthen our knowledge and skills in terms of preparing for disasters? So as you know, we don't want to be taken aback to say we didn't know what to do. And in that way, when other assistance is coming, we already have had our capacity to respond to the disasters.
Senior Health Promotion Officer from Mzimba North District Health Office, Love Mokawaye, held MANIT Plus for the motorbikes, saying they will help to ease mobility challenges.
As you might be aware, the monitoring activities require a lot of mobility, moving from one place to another. So there is need that we should have good transport. So the coming in of the motorcycle will ease some of the challenges that were there in implementing the project, especially in terms of mobility.
Now, organizers of the One People Africa tour by Burning Spear have disclosed that preparations for the show, scheduled for October this year, are well underway. Shadrach Kalokusha, leader of the organizing committee, stated that all transport arrangements for the Burning Spear and his 17-member band have been finalized. According to Kalokusha, the event presents a unique opportunity for Malawians to see the 79-year-old reggae legend before he retires from active music.
This event has been, we've been preparing for it quite for some months. We were just waiting to finish off Mingoli Bash so that we can make official announcements. But the contract and many other arrangements were being prepared prior to even having Kumingoli Bash. I would say about 2 months before Kumingoli Bash. So it's not coming as a surprise for us, although the campaign has started after Kumingoli Bash. So we're well in the advanced stages of preparations, I would say so. This event is Burning Spear's African tour. We just happen to be that we are the organizers here in Malawi and the partners here in Malawi, but this is his own function. He's coming, come what may, and he's coming to perform here in Malawi for his Malawian fans. Like I said, this is something that's happening in about 4 or 5 countries, and he's sure to arrive in all those 4 or 5 countries. As of now, we're also already informed that the tickets for him to arrive into the country have already been secured. In fact, for the whole African tour, the tickets have already been secured. It's a band of 17 people. So there's no extras coming from any other country except from Jamaica. So this is his actual band, including the brass section and the backing singers and everything else that you can expect on a full live reggae band.
In sports, everything is ready for Malawi national team's 2025 Group F Africa Cup of Nations qualifier opener against Burundi at Bingu National Stadium today. The team has been in camp for 3 days and held its final training session at Bingu National Stadium on Wednesday. Our reporter Foster Maulidi witnessed the final training session and reports from Bingu National Stadium.
The countdown continues as Malawi, the Flames, are set for the much anticipated 2025 Continental Showpiece opener against the Swallows of Burundi. And here is the setting, Bingu National Stadium. How has been the preparations and how are the players geared for the opener at home? Well, let's catch up with the boss, Patrick Mabedi, and captain of the side, Christopher John Banda.
I'm happy because I know how to play with their mind and try to trigger them. And so far, the response was good because in this one day, we're trying to do as much as we can. And at the same time, to balance also resting and recovery and make them understand oral theory, everything practical. So I think so far, the response, they've been good and mentally, and they're also motivated because they're professionals. We just need to go and do what we're supposed to do.
The players are ready for the game, as the coach has put it. We know the rewards that will be there if we can win. Our lives may change if we can qualify for AFCON finals. We are just 6 games away. So it's our privilege that we are starting at home, and we'll make sure that we use our home ground advantage. The players are ready and are eager to play tomorrow.
Next on the menu for Malawi is Burkina Faso on 10th of this month away in Burkina Faso before a back-to-back clash against Senegal. That will be on 7th of October before a return match here at the Bingu National Stadium on the 15th of October. Malawi last participated in the Africa Cup of Nations in 2021 and were eliminated in the round of 16 against Morocco. But this is the new journey, the new chapter and the new beginning, and it all starts here. From the Bingu National Stadium, this is Foster Maulidi.
And that item wraps up this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. The 2024 Africa-China Summit starts in Beijing with a call for China and African countries to embrace modernization. Farmers in the Lower Shire to start utilize the Shire Valley Transformation Project by December this year. And in sports, all set for Flames 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier opener against Burundi at Bingu National Stadium in Lilongwe. For more on these and other stories, follow our online platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and our website, mbc.mw. You can access all MBC digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen, or get the latest news by subscribing to our SMS services by dialing *364#. I am Patso Tebulo on behalf of the entire news team. Thanks for watching and goodbye.